$15 an acre.
Eradicane users are getting better control for a much better price. It's a fact. At annual grass rates, Eradicane can save you $2, $3, even more on every acre. Can you switch and save? See your dealer. Your savings could vary, but Eradicane will be dollars less than Dual or Lasso.
He's right. I switched and saved.
There's a showcase.
Concerns and needs of the citizens and improve the board's programs and facilities. Candidate Irv Kessel said he has always felt the public should be boss for any public entity, especially during tough economic times.
I'm concerned and always be concerned about fairness in operation and direction of our citizens. I've always felt that the citizens are the most important. Those are the people that determine what should happen. I've come out earlier and I've said I'd be concerned about communication and listening, a sounding board.
Candidate Mike Lefor says government should be run like a business with enthusiasm, hard work, and planning.
In order to keep the customers, in this case the participants and taxpayers, happy, I think it is very important to find out their viewpoint on certain issues, and I would propose that a representative be elected from each facet of recreation and a few representatives from parks to meet with the park board periodically to keep the board updated on the needs and the wants of the participants. It is also my belief that senior citizens and the handicapped should be given more recreational outlets.
Lefor would like to see a preliminary study done to determine what can be offered for the handicapped and also hire part-time or volunteer coordinators for senior citizens and handicapped programs. Leo Ringy echoed the same kind of plan.
In an effort to improve communication between the participants and the board, I propose the organization of participant boards to give input as to the concerns and possible changes necessary in certain programs. I feel very strongly these participant organizations could help eliminate possible problems before they arise.
Ringy would like to see all senior citizens be given free admission to park board-sponsored events and use the South Side and North Side complex for youth baseball and softball programs. The city election takes place this Tuesday. In this week's Our Town Story, we take a look at the community of Mansfield.
Good morning and welcome to Viewpoint. This Sunday morning our topic is on the Dickinson Park Board. We have some incumbents who will be talking about their race for the Park Board again. We have some candidates coming on the program. They're hoping to gain a seat on the Dickinson Park Board. And we also have members of the Park Board who are not in this year's race but who will be talking about Park Board projects. And Diana Ellis will interview our first guest this morning, Carson Steiner. Diana?
Thank you, Vicki, and good morning. We have with us Carson Steiner.
Hello.
And your portfolio is the parks, right?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me a little bit, how many parks do we have in Dickinson?
Right now we have 29 parks, Diana, and they range from 1900ths of an acre to 32 acres, with the exception of Patterson Lake. At Patterson Lake we have 1,191 land acres and 819 water acres.
Okay, very good. That's a lot of acres to take care of. What, in terms of maintenance, does that require?
Well, it's very costly to maintain these parks. At present, we have around $684,000 worth of property to maintain. Some of the costlier items is your grass cutting, your tree trimming, your flower planting, your watering, just your general maintenance of the park itself and the swings and everything that is in the park. One project that we have now that we've been babying for the last 2 years is our Boulevard Tree Project, and you can see that as you go up by Big Sky Shopping Center up and down there.
Okay, what are some of the comments from some of the people about that boulevard?
Well, last year we've heard a lot of comments on it when it got green and the leaves started coming up, and we're replacing the trees that are dying, and it's really looking pretty right now. It's one of the main entrances into the city, and I think it does the city a lot of good for people.
Okay. You had mentioned that there's a lot in terms of mowing and that kind of thing. I would think that makes up for more part-time kind of summertime.
Yes.
Help.
During the summer, we hire, our total people is around 250 people that we have for all our programs. A great many of them we put on part-time, the kids from college and high school and so on, to do the mowing and painting and so on.
Okay, so that involves a lot. Also, what programs are offered in the park during the summertime?
We have various programs during the summer in the parks, and they can range from our play park programs, which is for the ages for children 4 to 7, and this is free to them. And we have an activity schedule here, and these can be picked up down at the Parks and Recreation Department. And just to go through a few of them, we have the swimming, the lessons, the flag football for the kids, the crafts, drawings, painting classes, Diana. It's a very good brochure for anybody that, and there's something here for everyone. We have our Summer Arts Festival, Diana, which makes up your Creative People Workshop, your band, shell musical, and your Sosandoa Summer Theater.
Okay, good. And where can someone pick up that information if they'd like?
You can get these down at the Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay, good. What would you have to say if you had one idea of a strength for the park board? What would you say that would be?
A strength for the park board? We work very well together. We have a balanced budget. We do not owe anyone any money, and we have money put aside for the future for some things that we would like to have done. But right now we're just waiting to see what happens.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much, Carson, for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
And Vicki will have more for you on the park board members right after this.
Thank you, Diana. And now joining us on the program is Harvey Unruh. He's an incumbent, and he's also running for re-election to the Dickinson Park Board. The main thing that he works with on the park board is Patterson Lake and the shop. And Harvey, how long have you been on the park board?
Vicki, I've been on for 4 years. I've served one full term now.
And what are some of the things that you've worked on as a board member?
Well, going to my portfolio, or what I'm in charge of, Patterson Lake, we have installed a user fee out there where we charge $1 a car to get in. With that money, because we're not funded by the city at all, Patterson Lake, it stands on its own. So we've used that money to improve Patterson Lake. We've hired a full-time caretaker out there. We've just improved the whole area, and we've made it more so that people can go out there and have a family-style picnic and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Has that caretaker made the difference out there as far as making the facility cleaner and more protected?
Yes, he has. He's a deputized sheriff, or he's with the sheriff's department. He's a deputy. He's gone to some law enforcement training, and he can make an arrest out there. And what he's done is he locks the gates at 11 o'clock at night. He opens them up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We send some of the summertime part-time workers out there, and he supervises them in cleaning up and picking up garbage and just general maintenance around the area. Mm-hmm. Another thing we've done out there, and we did this at a board meeting in February, we're not going to be charging senior citizens over 60 years old to get into Patterson Lake. They go in free. This has been a request, and I think rightly so. So they won't be paying the $1 charge this year.
Okay. Why are you running for re-election again?
Well, I feel that the board works very well together. We've had some very good projects. There's a few more projects that I would like to see carried on, and I think with the management that we've done with the budget and everything like that, that we can continue to do the same thing. And there's things like, someday I'd like to see a bicycle trail or a walking trail somewhere, a few miles around the town connecting Patterson Lake with the city. This all depends on the money. We'll work within our budget all the time. We won't spend money that we don't have.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other project you'd like to see in the next 4 years?
Well, at Patterson Lake, yes, we need to do some roof work on some of the roofs out there, like at Lions Park, the horseshoe pits. We need to do a little sand work around the beaches, get that back in shape again. Actually, last year we did get one more picnic area, the old archery range out there. That's ready now, and it's a nice area. It's just east of the gate. Mm-hmm. And just general improvement out there and maintaining what we have. Then with the shop, we keep updating our equipment. We keep it relatively new, in good running order. We get rid of the old and try to replace it with new, but we do this as the money comes in. And
as a park board member, do you find that the public, even though the economy is down, still makes a demand for their leisure time activity?
Oh, sure. I feel our usage is probably as much as it was before when times were really good. Probably more, because people have a tendency in the tougher times to stay closer to home and use the volleyball, the basketball, softball facilities that we have here.
Mm-hmm. So Patterson Lake will be continued to be developed?
Oh, yes. Oh, and another thing we're doing out there at Lions Park, we're putting in this summer, the money has been appropriated through the Lions Club and partially through us, to put a flush toilet in out there too, which will be, you know, a very good addition at Patterson Lake.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll be back with more on the Park Board right after this. Welcome back to Viewpoint. We continue our discussion now about the Dickinson Park Board, and now joining us is Commissioner Milo Doolum. He's been on the Park Board 8.5 years, and the area that he takes care of is recreation and the ballparks. And Milo, how is recreation funded in Dickinson?
We have about 36% of the funding coming from taxes, 53% of it comes from fees, and 11% of it comes from other things like donations from service clubs and things like that, and grants.
Okay. How many years have you been involved in the city's recreation?
I've been involved in, as far as the city is concerned, I've been involved from day one. The day that we started going out to get a mill levy to put a recreation program in. The committee was formed in 1969 when the City Chamber of Commerce decided that after a poll, they decided that there was 3 top things that had to be done in Dickinson, and that one of them was, those top 3 was to develop a recreation program. And then they selected a committee, and I happened to be one of those members of that committee. And we went ahead then and went after a mill levy, and eventually got a mill levy. And in 1972 we started a recreation program and hired a director, and it carried on from there.
And that even though you've had limits on your mill levy, the city hasn't really expanded that mill levy beyond almost its original beginnings, and yet the Park Board has still tried to maintain that.
That is correct. One of the things that, as we went out to talk to the patrons, one of the things that they asked us to do is to get a user's fee, and we put that user's fee in, and that's how we have been able to function pretty well.
So the participation fees are fairly important. They're about half your
About 53% of the funds that we get are from user's fees.
Okay. And by user's fees, you mean somebody that wants to play volleyball sends the Dickinson Park Board a check for $10.
Right. When they register for volleyball, they'll send us a check for that, and they'll also have a sponsor's fee and so on that comes in.
Okay. What are some of the big accomplishments or some of the things that you're especially proud of?
I think over the past 8 years that I've been on the board, some of the biggest accomplishments is the development of Gress Park, the softball park over on the south side. We now have 6 completed diamonds over there, and one of them is lighted. And by the way, we will be lighting one more this spring, and we'll probably have another one lighted within a year or so. The improvements at the North Complex with the development of a sprinkling system that keeps our grass in good shape, and also we raised the fence on the north addition to make it safer for the participants. One of the things that I'm quite proud of, and this took quite a community effort, was the development and improvement of our original baseball park over on the south side. We put over $100,000 into that as improvements over the last number of years. And this $100,000 came from donations, a little bit from grants, and a lot of hard work from a lot of different people. You probably have noticed that we have new lights over there that were not there. We have an improved, very much improved stands with bleachers, and a building now that is capable of housing the press box, lavatories, concession, and gives us also good storage for the facilities over there.
So over time, slow but sure, things have been improved, huh?
Right.
Okay, very good. Thanks for coming in, Milo. We'll be back in a little bit with some more Park Board. This is William Hankins, president of the Dickinson Park Board, and Bill is an incumbent. He's in charge of the budget and office management as his portfolio. And Bill, or William Hankins, has a long history with the Park Board. Bill, what are some of the accomplishments that have taken place?
Well, to start with, I've been on the board 18 years, and I've seen much progress. During that time, we established the recreation program for the city. In the last 4 years, we've done a considerable amount of building in the park and recreation area. We've completed 2 new parks, have 2 on the drawing boards. We've renovated the swimming pools, renovated the baseball park. We built a hockey rink complete with warming house, and another rink on the north end of town. We established a BMX track for our young people, and we've done extensive work out at the Patterson Lake. We've redone the roads, put in RV camping, complete with dump, and have established a permanent caretaker at the beach area.
What are some of the limitations that you've had to work within because of the mill levy?
Well, we have not had a budget increase mill-wise since I came on the board. When Parks and Recreation was accepted by the community, we established a recreation mill levy then, but the Parks mill levy is the same as it's always been at 6 1/2 mills. At the present time, we raise approximately $274,000 from both Parks and Recreation mill levy, but our budget is over $574,000, and so the bulk of that, over $300,000, has to come from other sources, and this is quite a challenge.
Are a lot of those funds then generated through grants?
A lot of it has been generated through grants. Much of it has been through donations. Most of our building projects have been a cost-share program in which the Park District participated with the grant program.
Okay. Why did you decide to run again after these years?
Well, I've enjoyed it. I like working with the board that I'm on. I think we've got a good board and a very conscientious board. And at the same time, I can foresee some problems, budgetary problems in the future. And with the experience that I've had at this point, I feel that I have much to offer. And I think that that was the final decision, plus encouragement to run for the board.
What about some strengths or weaknesses of the board? What are a couple strengths, a couple weaknesses?
Well, I think the strengths of our particular board is the fact that we discuss and really review all programming together. And so that there isn't a lot of confrontation on the board in relationship to that. Mm-hmm. I think that we have a board that's quite wide as far as their expertise and their personal contacts in the community, which I think does help too.
And a weakness?
Well, offhand, I'd say we don't have one. I don't know if there's a weakness. Maybe there could be some communications problem, but I don't really think that our board is weak.
Okay. Thanks for coming up this morning.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more right after this.
We're here at Central Middle School's fabulous cafeteria playing the lunch game.
Right, Scoot. And play has begun as the Big Three push their way around the lunch line again today.
Looks like they found another rookie to pick on, Raj.
Yeah, that's Philip Barnes. He was traded to the school just last week.
Where's the officials?
I see no flag on that play.
Play continues out among the tables. It doesn't look good.
Uh-oh, they're on their feet.
They're lining up. It's their infamous Orange Bowl.
It's a dirty game out there, Scoot.
Wait, what's this? Chad Townsend seems to be having a change of heart. Could he be breaking away from the pack?
Wow, I haven't seen him move like that all season.
Amazing.
Chad has just showed us what it takes to be all-pro in this league. It's a real crowd pleaser.
Great game.
Let the good guy in you shine through.
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons.
They say the best things in life are worth waiting for. Well, maybe, maybe not. But when I decided I wanted to go to college, I wanted to go right now. So I joined the Army National Guard. See, in the Guard, I get $5,000 for college, thanks to the new GI Bill. Plus, I got a $2,000 cash enlistment bonus. Plus, I get a regular paycheck. When you add it all up, I learn a minimum of $18,000 that I can put toward college. And that's not even the best part. The best part is, I serve 2 days a month, 2 weeks a year. And I serve right in my own hometown. So if you're in a hurry to start college, keep this in mind. In the Army National Guard, They not only give you the money for school, they also give you the time. Serve part-time, go to school full-time, and get $18,000 for college.
In the National Guard.
We are back now on Viewpoint. Our topic this morning is Park Board, and now joining us are three of the challengers for the Park Board seats. There are 3 Park Board seats up for re-election, and the challengers this election will be Mike Lefor, Leo Ringy, and Irv Kessel. And gentlemen, first I'll ask you briefly each why you are running. Mike, first off, why did you decide to get in the race?
Well, Vicki, I think that there's a need for more participation, input in the decisions made by the Park Board. Now, I'm a participant in men's softball, volleyball, basketball, and our business sponsors these activities. And I think a master advisory board needs to be set up so that the individuals can get more input in not only Park Board decisions, but also involved in the their activity. They should, what they're doing, they should have more decision-making power. Also, with federal revenue sharing and state revenue sharing being cut, I think my management experience will help in the Park Board, because the federal government wants to cut 4.5% out of our budget. Governor Sinner's asking for a 10% reduction, and of course we're sure that the city is going to ask for about a 10% devaluation in real estate, which is also going to adversely affect the revenue that the Park and Recreation Department gets from these entities. So I think between my being a participant in the programs and my management experience is basically why I thought I could help with the Park Board.
Okay. Leo?
Well, Vicki, I ran because of several reasons. I've had a lifelong interest in athletics, been very involved in recreation programs as a participant, a spectator, and coach over the years. And I have a very keen interest in seeing those programs developed and improved. Also, I believe that the communication between the people involved in the programs needs to be improved. I think that any government entity gets its power from the people and is responsible back to those people. And I think we need more input in the programs, the way that they're ran, the way that they're managed. And I think we've got a couple of key issues. The swimming pool issue, I think our swimming pools are overcrowded. What we're paying for a back bond issue that is inadequate to serve the needs of the community. The north-south side complex with baseball, softball. I think those are key issues that we have to face and solve over the next 4 years.
Okay.
Vicki, my biggest concern seems to be that I'm real concerned about the direction that the Parks and Recreation is taking in the city of Dickinson. I see a lot of problems, and I see a lot of need that needs to be covered. I go back a long way, and of course I have a little bit of sentimental value involved because my roots are here in Dickinson back many years, and I was a product of the program as I grew up, and I'm concerned about the people of the area and that they be treated the way that they be treated fairly and openly in all matters pertains to Parks and Recreation. I guess I'm particularly concerned at this point about as a businessman and having my own business, the economic conditions that are persisting in the city of Dickinson and the immediate area. And I think at this point, maybe we got to take a close look at stability in the program. I think we're overspending. I think we need to take a look at some of the areas that, whether it be administration or wherever that area is, and do some things about it. Our population apparently is dropping considerably as I see it. And there just aren't the dollars, and as Governor Sinner pointed out, we're having problems on the state level. Our public schools are in trouble, it appears to me. They're making and trying to establish deep cuts over there, and I think we too have to come in line. And I think maybe a lot of this was brought on by the oil days when we had a little bit of extra money, but at this time I think we need to do a lot of things. And on top of all, I think Leo mentioned it, I'm very concerned about communication, a listening sounding board for the public. And as I've said before, and I believe it wholeheartedly, the public is boss, and they should make some decisions or have some input.
Specifically, this is for either one of you, what would be a real weakness as you see it specifically, something that's happened or something that was done that really said to you, I'm going to run because I think it's wrong?
Well, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. One of the things that concerned me, I could bring up several different associations. The Tennis Association wants more flexibility in their scheduling. I see no reason why we shouldn't give it to them, because after all, it is recreation tennis, and let them do it as they see fit. I don't see why there should be why they shouldn't have the flexibility they're looking for. The other thing that concerned me a lot is that the parents of participants in youth baseball and youth softball want to know why their children can only play at one complex. Why is it that they can only use the north or the south side? When I was growing up, we had 4 complexes in Dickinson to go to the nearest complex, and I see no reason why we couldn't do that now. Why not use both complexes for youth baseball and softball?
Mm-hmm. Leo, do you have any?
I guess I see things such as a baseball field. I think I just found out the other night that $100,000 had been spent. I feel personally the baseball field was in better shape 8 years ago. There's no roof over the grandstand. There's no wire backstop. There's a net that's used. The locker facilities are not usable. There are no shower facilities for the players down there. I think our lights are very inadequate. I think for the $100,000 that was spent, our baseball field, we didn't get $100,000 of value out of it. I think that's a very key thing, and I think we got to look in the future and make sure that every dollar we spend, that we get a dollar of value back to the taxpayers, back to the people involved in Dickinson. And again, I think budget's important. I think programs are important. But I think the key issue in anything is the people. And we have a park and recreation department because of the people. And they've got to come first, and their needs should be met first.
Okay. Irv, anything specifically that's happened?
Pretty much what Mike and Leo both said. I echo pretty much that same thing. And that, I think we've alienated a lot of people and a lot of programs, and we've set people apart in, as Mike and Leo have said, and whether it be softball or baseball or wherever it is, and I just don't think it's necessary. I think at a point in time, these decisions can be made, and they can be made with the in favorable position for all people's concerned, and they should be. I guess I'm concerned that we, I guess my big thinking is that we need to control the bottom line, which is the dollar, and the taxpayer has to be concerned about what's going to happen with that dollar. I think it's maybe time to look at some things and place a moratorium on whatever we're doing at a point in time. Are we building, for example, extra softball fields to house people from the outside? Are we concerned about the people here in Dickinson? Are we building only to have weekend tournaments and that type of thing, or whatever other type of tournaments? Or are we concerned with our people? And of course, the bottom line is you still got to pay for those things, and you got to maintain them once you get them. So it isn't that simple just to put them up and have them there and have all these great facilities. We have nice facilities, I have to agree, but I think there's a better way to manage and direct them.
You bring up managing and directing. Do you have any problem with the city's management and direction of the park board so far? Do you see your role, if you got on the park board, as different than the one that exists?
I guess the thing that I would like to think, and I'd certainly like to make it known, is that I'm an extension of the public if I am so elected. And if I am so elected, I'm a boss, and I feel that I need to be a boss in that situation, and I have to act accordingly for the best interest of the people, with talking to the people, and then coming back and saying, hey, I'm going to make some decisions, and that's where the decisions are going to come from. And I feel very strongly that we have to do that. Every park board member has to do that. He has to be responsible in making sound decisions, but making decisions is the most important thing.
Okay, Mike?
I think the park board has to be more of an administrator. They have to listen to what the people have to say, gather that data, check with the budget, see what you can and cannot do. However, you have to be an administrator. You have to make the decisions. You cannot allow someone else to make all the decisions for you. You have to be the boss.
Okay. Thank you very much for your comments this morning. We're all out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
And thank you for joining us. Join us again next week for Viewpoint.
saw him as the cause of a lot of the bickering on the city commission the last few years. But Sorensen's had a much quieter and proven past, and I think people just grew tired of hearing about Civic Center and Sunday liquor, and those are things that Leroy Walker was always on one side of the issue on. I think people just grew tired of that.
Well, now that we do have a new mayor here in Bismarck, how do you think he'll do?
Well, I think Sorensen has promised to be a quiet consensus builder, and he's someone who's going to make the city commission a little bit more efficient. Now, he's promised to be much tighter with the gavel when commissioners getting out of line and talking about things that aren't germane to the topic that's being discussed at that moment. He says he's going to gavel them and get them off that subject. So now that we have, it looks like we're going to have 2 new people on the city commission, and they have looks like they're going to have a chance to lead a city that's got a very bright future. And if we can just break this drought, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
All right, thanks, Dale, for shedding some light on the election. And we will see a couple of new city commissioners if we can go to the further results of our elections today. The Bismarck City Commission results, actually some surprises here also. Danzel with 1927, Haas with 2655. Connie Sprinzanatic, a runaway winner in the City Commission, 9325, and M. Swanson at 7998, and that is, of course, with 24 precincts reporting. The Bismarck Park Board results, Bentz at 4097, Dunlop 4236. Close race here. Hashie at 5915, Connie Johnson at 6408, Mueller 5633, and Mike Pucklich at 4383, and that is again with all the votes in.
And on the other side of the river, Mandan, the advisory vote to allow fireworks in the city limit with 11 of 11 precincts, all votes in. They say, no, we don't want fireworks in the city limits. In the Mandan City Commission race, this isn't much of a surprise since there was an uncontested race. Tom Kelsch at 1527 and Ed Bosch-Freilich with 1425. The Mandan Park Board, we chose 3 out of 5 to put on the park board. Sandra Christensen took the most votes with 1361. Ronald Bieberdorf with 995 and Tim Helbling with 1202 were the 3 that will make it on the Mandan Park Board.
Moving on to Dickinson into the mountain time zones, and their polls are closed there, and 8 of 8 precincts reporting here. Their utility tax, which is actually a tax to upgrade their forestry department in Dickinson, and in a very close race, they have voted to add a 50-cent utility tax to their bills. And, or I guess they have turned that down. They will not add the utility tax, and it would have meant a full-time forestry official for the city of Dickinson. Moving on to the Bismarck City Commission, and again a very close race here. Gangler leads the race at 1873, Gene Gendrew at 1307, Picorni 613, and Zeman 753. The Dickinson Park Board, the first 3 here will move into the Dickinson Park Board. Bud Etzold leads the pack here at 1647, King 1357, Lefor 1253, and Perlmutter at 884.
And in Hazen, with 2 people who have already held the post of Hazen Commission President. Lonnie Adler, the incumbent, took the race this year with 343 votes against Mel Beckler with 201. So the new Hazen
turnout, 2,161 to be exact, although we had plenty of local and regional city results, some pretty close ones. Let's go to the results, first of all, in the City Commission. We saw there are 4 candidates running for City Commission, with the top 2 vote getters winning the 2 vacant seats. Incumbent Gene Gendrew, who's been on the commission for 4 years, has 1,307 votes. Gendrew is looking to improve sewage and water lines in the city. Looks like he'll be able to do that as well as a regional landfill, and believes home rule and a 1% sales tax is needed. Kevin Zeemans has a vote of 753. His campaign included home rule for local government, but not for a 1% sales tax. 1,273 votes for Fred Gangler. Gangler held a seat on the commission back in 1974. He'll be there again. He's also in favor of home rule and a 1% sales tax and believes in a more modernized city government. Fred is the son of retiring city commissioner John Gangler. 24-year-old Jeff Picorni has 613 votes. He's in favor of home rule and a 1% sales tax. He campaigned to bring young entrepreneurs to the city. There are also 4 candidates running for 3 park board seats. Incumbent Mike Lefor has 1,647 votes. He's been on the board for 4 years and hopes to find ways to maintain parks in the dry season. Bud Etzold has 1,253 votes. He too is an incumbent and has been on the board for 1 term. Etzold is also coach at Dickinson State University. Al King has 1,357 votes and believes the golf course management will be important. 884 votes for Dave Perlmutter. He was once the park board supervisor and is active in community recreation programs. And the only issue on the ballot is to determine whether or not residents are willing to pay 50 cents on their utility bill to support Craig Armstrong as a full-time forester. Yes votes 974 and 1,005 votes for the no. We had plenty of local results as well. Let's go right away to the beach election. The mayor was unopposed, but in City Commission, the votes, 2nd Ward, Marion Schatz had 19, Gene Scoglin 46, and Darren Martin 33. In the 3rd Ward, David Vicken had 24, and Bernie Skilo with 49. The mill levy, 15 mills on the dollar for a swimming pool, 131 yes, and 117 were no. In Bowman, City Commissioner, there were 2 openings. Don Smith got 271, Dwayne Reiner with 207, Karen Bowman with 173, Robert Shear Sr. with 135, and Todd Stearns with 213. 2 openings also in the park board, Kevin Bagley with 190, Darwin Wilkie 235, 290 for Don Grohl, and Kim Clout with 195. Dunn Center, mayor votes, mayoral, Lottie Dvorak with 15, and Marcia Scholmeyer with 54. In Hebron, mayor Ken Railing with 178, John Slag with 214. City Commissioner in Ward number 2, the contested ward, Wayne Egert with 96 and Verda Drabe with 91. No results from Hettinger. Right over to Kildare, City Commission, 2 openings with the votes, 70 votes for Phyllis O'Neill, the incumbent, Bruce Branzik with 142, Noreen Knutson with 180, and Arnold Calkins with 81. And the president, Robert Binnick, 156. Morris Bang received 91 votes. Mott, George Jones with 293 in the mayoral race, incumbent Ben Jamin with 145. Alderman votes, the 2nd Ward, Sandy Gress with 90, and Troy Mossbarker with 60. 1st Ward, Victor Messer with 38, and Kellen Messmer with 76. Into Richardson, City Commission, 2 openings for the 4-year term. Votes, Stephen Kilzer with 75, Leslie Alpert with 54, Roger Schwab with 20. He was the incumbent, and Todd Miller with 66. The 2-year, Leo Krenzel with 89. Park District, Louis Treiber, with 105. And the mill levy was yes 62 and no 54. On to South Art, Alderman, 2 openings there. Votes, Steve Smith with 40 votes, Floyd Hurt with 53, and Quayne Kutternut with 46. And coming up next in sports, we'll have